It's about to start. We'll talk about code or whatever we'll talk about today. It's about to start, so please hang tight while I check that everything is okay. Sound check, camera check, lights check. How's my hair? Oh, wait, I don't have any hair. Maybe put some pants on and I am good to go. So get ready wherever you are, 'cause this stream is about to start. Get ready wherever you are, 'cause this stream is about to start. Hello everyone and welcome to another meeting of the C++ Digital Signal Processing JUCE and plenty of other things study group. It's a different setup, it's a different place. The stream looks different, but hopefully it looks okay. How is everyone doing today?
Very good, thank you. Doing good. How are you, Leandro?
I am doing well. I worked on some C++ stuff, surprisingly.
All right. All right.
And I'm happy to share that with you all. But perhaps you can share a little bit of what happened last meeting, which I couldn't attend, so we lost the stream. Mm-hmm. So what are you all working on?
Do you want to start, Fotis, or should I go?
Yeah, because I joined at the last minute and I forgot what you were talking about.
As a quick recap, I showed the onions that I added some more features to it that I've since removed. And we also talked about ChatGPT a bit. And I showed Fotis how to use it. Did you start using it though? After that, Fotis?
No, I didn't, because I have been extremely busy at work.
All right. Lately. Okay. Cool.
Isn't it vacation at this point? I mean, school vacation?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
After that we discussed techniques on how to fake a tape, how to create a tape emulation. Yep. We talked a bit about show tape model, and also Bo gave me some insight on how wow and flutter works in tape, and he gave me some advice. I have written notes about it. And do you remember, Bo, what the Seawitz was working on?
Actually, no. He was moving from Malta. From Latvia to Malta.
From Latvia to Malta, yes.
And he did that today. And I think that last time we talked, he was actually had moved quite recently from Malta to Latvia. So he was in transit and he hadn't set up his gear and etc. etc. So. Mm-hmm. And he uses a lot of hardware, so he can't just sit down and start coding on a laptop. So I'm with him on that.
Mm-hmm. I feel the pain because in the place where I am right now, the only thing I have is my laptop. We are streaming using the Wi-Fi. Mm-hmm. I'm using the webcam on the computer. It's just one laptop. That's all I have. I don't have access to my oscilloscope, my electronic stuff, my usual microphone, camera, lighting situation.
Yeah. And the backdrop.
Yeah, and the green screen. So you see me in the real world. Isn't that weird? It's almost like I'm a real person.
Yeah, almost. Close enough. I'm just a thumbnail, so who am I to?
Maybe we are all parts of ChatGPT, who knows?
Yeah.
I'm curious. I haven't joined the ChatGPT party because I'm freaked out by it. I have played with the stable diffusion stuff because you can use it locally. But my question is, for you all who are playing with this, does it know us? Like if you ask about the C++ digital signal processing JUCE study group, for instance, or if you ask about the streams in general, does it know us? Because that would freak the hell out of me.
No, it doesn't.
Oh.
Because it's not.
Not yet.
Not yet, yeah. I think my guess is that I saw an interview with Elon Musk a while back, and he said that the AI is getting way too self-aware, so they put caps on it. And if you ask it, it just says, "I'm an AI. I don't know this. I don't know that," and it's limited its knowledge up to, I think it's December 2021. So
December 2021.
Yeah, so it can't go with too recent information, and it does have an awareness of, if you keep, I have different threads, so there's different threads you can keep. Let me show you. Share screen.
While they're setting that up, I'm double checking that yes, we are getting audio from you all, and we even have Mage here on the chat. Hey, Mage.
Oh, all right.
Hey, Mage.
Cool. Yeah, I forgot about the chat. Sorry.
Yeah. So what's up, Mage? Long time no see. And I think I will be streaming more often moving forward because things are settling down over here. Anyway, so here is ChatGPT.
Can you? It's not on my television set.
It's probably a little bit of a lag.
Oh, there it is.
I can see.
There you go. There you go. So I have different threads here, so it remembers what we've talked about previously. But if I kill the thread and start all over, it doesn't have any recollections of. Even if I say the same thing, it doesn't have any recollections of it, which is a good thing, because sometimes it's really it gets into a thought loop or sort of makes errors, and the best way to surpass that is just to delete the conversation and start afresh with a different question, with a different so that's it. But it's absolutely, I absolutely love it. It's so great. You can ask it ask it in any language. I've asked it in Swedish. I've asked it in lyrics, feedback, hence the romantic getaway analysis, pop song lyric help, compounded interest, help writing Lua script. I haven't tested the Lua scripts, but recently there's been a lot of JSFX. Of course.
It's learning JSFX now. I think it didn't know anything about JSFX.
And that's another thing. It's not that good with. I've checked some other folks that have been discussing ChatGPT, and it's not as very good with the sort of the teeny tiny small user-based languages, such as MQL4 and JSFX. And there was a guy talking about Pine Script. It's getting better at JSFX, actually.
Oh, nice.
So that's
creepy.
Good. I love it. Since I'm so crappy at coding, I can ask it like a really stupid question, and it's so patient with me. I love that.
What I love about this that you are showing is that in your favorites bar, there is the Discord server for us all. The Discord server for our channel.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
This shows commitment. I love it.
Yep.
Yeah, and I have a folder called Study Group with all the HISC links and stuff.
Awesome. All right. So let's talk about C++ or JSFX. What do you have for us?
Should I go first?
Yeah, absolutely. You are already on the screen.
Yeah. So I've been updating the revolver. I've managed to fix the left-right veering issue, and and got the side chain working properly. I've changed some parameters in it. They're not working as intended, but I'm getting there. I discovered I was doing I was wondering why it sounded different. The sort of the 06 version sounded different from the 04, and I discovered what it is. I'm doing the sum calculation differently for the different left and right channels, so that's why. But what's happening now is that the threshold is not sort of the automatic gain compensation isn't working, and I have no idea why.
Oh.
But I'm working on it.
Oh, okay. Do you want to show us the relevant part of the code? Because it's not that much code, and perhaps we have some insight.
Yeah, it's. I've been working on this bit, but it might be somewhere else that's at fault.
Oh, so sidechain is a drop-down menu or something of that sort?
Yep.
Okay, I get it. So if sidechain is equal to 0, it means you are using the signal as a
regular compressor, yeah.
Yeah.
And if it's 1, then it takes in a different separate channels. So it goes on SPL2, SPL3.
Yeah, so there is something that stands out to me. The line we have there is sidechain equals to 0, SPL0 equals SPL0, but that is just assigning a variable to itself. It's not going to do anything.
Yeah, but yeah. This is me trying different things to see if I can get it going. So this was what I originally have, because this is more correct, right? The second line.
Well, the second line is doing something that is, if sidechain is equal to 0, then SPL1, but it doesn't do anything. Because
so I need to tell it if sidechain is 1, then it's SPL divided by threshold. Or is that what you're saying? Sorry.
No, what I'm saying is the expression sidechain equals to 0 question mark SPL1, it is going to return SPL1, but you're not assigning this expression to anything. You're not saying like my variable equals sidechain equals 0 and so on. So this is not doing anything. It's the same thing as SPL0 equals SPL0. It's an operation that doesn't do anything. Now, on the other hand, the else clause, so if sidechain is equal to 1, then you are doing something. You are taking SPL1 and you're dividing by the threshold, which is a bit odd because as far as I understand, this is a stereo compressor in the sense that you expect the signal to be stereo. So you are doing something to SPL1 that you don't do to SPL0, which means you probably have some kind of differences that shouldn't exist.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's no difference between left and right. That's also a weird thing.
Oh, that is weird.
Yep.
So maybe we are doing something funky with the threshold, but no, it's just a slider. Yeah, no, just by reading the code, it really should be the case that if you have sidechain enabled, the right channel will sound quieter than the left channel. Because you're dividing by a number that is greater than 1. So it should be lower in volume.
Yeah, it is. But what used to happen is, so I'm multiplying by the threshold here to push the compressor. So can you hear the drums? Can you hear it?
No, we can hear it.
I did the same thing. I shared without the sound. Stop sharing. Confirm. Stop sharing. Share screen. Why is this off by default?
Yeah. Maybe it's a feature, not a bug.
Yeah, it's Microsoft, of course. It's a feature, not a bug. Is that better?
Yeah.
I hear that.
Yeah. So it's killing the drums.
Yeah, well, on Skype we don't hear stereo, but judging by the meters, the right channel seems quieter. Well, I guess it's also quieter on the input.
This is where I'm only getting the sidechain signal. No. Oh, I'm looking at the bass channel, bass track. Sorry. So it's just it seems like this threshold, lower bar threshold, is sort of overworking it in some weird way. Is that noise outside of you, Leandro?
Oh, maybe it's outside of me.
Okay.
There.
So for the other one, the one that was working, 0.4, here's the sort of the multiplying by threshold, and then the compression, makeup gain, and then dividing by the third. This works fine. It's when I do the side chain option, then it stops working.
The first couple lines on the sample section make a lot of sense. You are detecting if you have the sidechain enabled and you are using S0 and S1, and that seems correct to me. Then multiplying by threshold, that also looks okay. The next couple lines look okay. The sum looks okay. SPLX, I'm not really sure what you're doing there, but it looks fine to me. The thing that stands out to me is, I guess just the last couple lines are a bit weird, but the rest seems okay. So perhaps what you wanted to do was to divide by the threshold on the lines starting with the compressing, the signal plus makeup gain. So perhaps that's where you would like to divide by the threshold, but I don't really understand the bulk of the algorithm. I'm just going by what looks weird. The last couple lines look weird.
Yeah, so all of this, what's happening in this code is summarized in the revolver variable. The makeup is a simple slider, just a simple gain slider for makeup gain. Yeah. So, but the threshold is me pushing the compressor with a value of with gain value, and then not what's the opposite of pushing? Lowering the gain of with the same amount. So this is sort of crude automatic gain compensation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So perhaps what you want to do is on the lines that read SPL0 times equals and SPL1 times equals, divide by the threshold there.
That's what I used to do.
Okay.
But then when I started to do the sort of side chain equals for it to separate the side internal side chain or external side chain, it F's up.
Interesting. Well, in theory, the only lines that should change when you introduce sidechain is the first two lines on the sample section that you have, and they are correct. They look correct anyway.
Yeah.
So
and they work actually, because when I choose the internal or external sidechain, it works. So. Or should we move on?
Yeah, perhaps you just spend more time with this, because nothing looks off except for the last two lines. Yeah,
so I'm gonna update that and fix that. And then there's the split thingy that I've also worked on. And let's listen to the bass for that. So what I did with that, I used it a bit on some music, and I noticed that it was weird left and right, so it distorted differently left and right. So what I did was I added a mid-side thingy to it, so it's processing mid-side separately. to keep the stereo image. And if I add so I can push the size. Oh, yeah, it's not in stereo, so you're not going to hear it. But
yeah.
So it either pushes the sides or the mids. And there's a slider that adjusts that. So that's what I've added to that thing. And the fun bit, now we're getting, I'm going to mute the, and no, so what I've done here is I split up let's see. Yeah, so I split up the different waves. So this is sort of first wave. That's what I call it, at least. But this is first. What's it? What's the technical term for this? I've forgotten it.
I'm not even sure I understand what you mean by first and second waves.
Yeah. So I used to have the first version I made. It was just a split. So if it's above this level, it cuts here. So SPL blah blah. If you remember that,
I guess it's a clipper of sorts.
Yeah, it's a clipper. So
it's a clipper.
for sure. Yeah. So if SPL 0 is above a certain level, it sets to 0.2, and that's the first version I made, and I had a low pass on it. What I tried to do in the first implementation, so the first change, was I added a couple of different levels to it, and I noticed that it got a bit boring having fixed levels. So what I did, I made adjustable levels for the clippers. So this is the first clipper level, and there's the second clipper level, and there's also a fold over. So it can go plus and it can go minus, and this one can actually also go minus. So there's a lot of variety in how I can change how I can alter the wave, quite simply. So and with the low pass as well. So that's what I've been doing with that one.
That looks interesting, and it must sound nasty because of all the sharp edges in the waveform.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. It's quite intriguing. Let's take a listen to it. Let's see. So,
my God, this is not, forgive the pun, but this is no longer a wave folder. This is a wave origami.
Yeah. So you can do all sorts of. You can shape the distortion in a really weird way. And remember, I asked on the Discord server how you would do it, because I mentioned like the first generation octavers, the pedals like 60s, 70s, 80s.
Mm-hmm.
They divide. Quite noisy. Is that a train?
That's a train going by.
Yeah. So, so what I'd like to do is take that those waves and then make a divider for it. So for every second wave, it goes plus and then it goes minus. But I need a kind of a for loop for that, I guess. And for loops are a bit weird in JSFX.
Yes, they are.
And ChatGPT can't help me there because it doesn't get it.
Okay, maybe we can help, but I'm not really sure I understand what you mean by these waves that you're talking about.
Maybe I could demonstrate. So if I set this if I reset this. So this is DC. This is like the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And then back to DC. So what this would do was it would go plus, skip this one, and then go minus here. So it would half the frequency. So it would do the same thing, but every second time.
I see.
Hence an octave lower. So that's how the old pedal box octavers used to work, the ones that made an octave below.
I didn't know that. Interesting. I don't think you need a for loop for this, because what you want is to remember state. You want to remember that you are above and not below zero. So you want to remember that you're in the positive range. And I think that what you need is just a variable that you first set it to positive, for instance, and then you perhaps you need two variables. Let's work through this. You have one variable that is just following whether you are positive or negative. And then you have a second variable that keeps track of the changes. So changes from positive to negative and vice versa. And you know that when two changes have happened, then you want to allow for the waveform to go below the next time. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like a loop, though, doesn't it?
Well,
no?
There is an implied loop, and that is the sample section, because that section of code is running in a loop. But I think that what you need is not a loop in your code. You just want to have state. You just want to keep track of state. In a way, it is similar to the pitch detector that we did using zero crossings when we had Florian on the stream.
Yeah.
So we did that. We kept track of the crosses, when going from positive to negative and vice versa. And in that case, we used that information for computing pitch, because we kept track of how many crosses have happened in a period of time. But in your case, you probably just want to keep track of two crosses have happened. So now let's stop folding the wave or doing whatever you're doing to the waveform.
Yeah. Florian stream. I'm taking notes here. Pitch. What do you call it? Pitch counter, pitch frequency,
tracking.
pitch tracking.
I think it was that, or pitch detection. It's one of these.
Yeah, pitch. Close enough.
Yeah. ChatGPT will not help you find it. I was gonna say it may help you find it, but no, because it's not up to date.
Nope, exactly. And I've also been working on a library. So far, I've just added the DC blocker, but I'm going to put in a lot more stuff in it, and some superfluous stuff as well. But I want to make a library.
Awesome.
Wait. Is this DC blocker the same one as the one in Reaper, or did you make one yourself from scratch?
No, this is Chokehold's.
Chokehold, yeah.
Yeah, it's his DC blocker, and
I
it's
love it.
supposedly he's taking it from someone. He has a reference to it in his code to a web
Yeah,
page.
it's taking it from the default Reaper library, and he just made it multi-channel.
All right.
I think that's the case.
So yeah, and I want to put in some hull average and some different kinds of averagings and high pass, low pass, etc. For use, and some GUI elements as well. So that's it for me. That's what I had.
Nice progress, amazing stuff. And when you get to the user interface, that's where it gets tricky. Oh boy, digital signal processing is nothing compared to user interfaces. Oh man,
I've noticed that. I've actually consulted ChatGPT about Qt Creator and C++. It might actually be simple because it's a platform for using for creating GUIs, whereas JSFX has next to zero. There's lots of libraries, but I want to create my own stuff. So
yeah, there is a human ChatGPT that creates a GUI. It's called Psyche. that man is insane.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's supernatural. God.
Yeah. And Fotis,
Yes.
what do you have for us?
What I have for you may actually surprise you. I'm gonna do something different just for this stream, away from HISC and my usual sample stuff. I did hint at it at one of my previous streams, but guys, I'm gonna need some Lua help. I actually studied just a little bit of Lua from a YouTube video called Lua Crash Course. It's 3 hours long.
I remember watching that one. It is quite good.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very concise and to the point.
Yep.
The YouTuber is called Steve's Teacher. I love the name.
Which one was it again?
It's called Lua Crash Course, and the YouTuber's name is Steve's Teacher.
Lua Crash Steve.
What I liked about that one is that it did not go into the things that you're probably not going to need to know, like meta tables. Or maybe they go into that only briefly. And they focus on the stuff that you actually need to know, like how to use strings and numbers and that sort of thing.
Lua Basics Crash Course, learn the base, like 2 hours, close to 2 hours.
No, it's 3 hours.
He has one that's 3 hours, 40 minutes.
3 hours, 40 minutes. Yeah, that's the one.
All right. Cool.
Anyway, so what I'm gonna do is an even bigger surprise, because I want to improve one of Leandro's real scripts.
Awesome.
And so I want the three of us to work on this together and create maybe the next version of this, and you could maybe maybe I could create a pull request and you could update it on your GitHub so it goes into Repack.
Awesome.
Now the annoying thing I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna do two things to this share computer sound. Yeah. So the annoying thing about the action list, I created, as you can see here, I created the duplicate. I added the number 2, but it doesn't show up in the action list. Yeah, no. It doesn't show up, and it doesn't even allow me to create a duplicate.
Wait, what?
I don't know, but whatever.
Why is that happening?
I have no idea. I did.
Oh no, I absolutely know why that's happening. You created the file, but did you register the new action in Reaper? Because JS effects are picked up automatically. As long as you have a file in the right folder, the effects browser will show you. You have to rescan sometimes, but it will show you automatically. actions, on the other hand, they don't have to be in a specific folder. They can live anywhere in the file system, but you do have to go there and load read script.
Let's do this.
Yeah, so that's what's up.
Let's go utility, and there you go. Do you think it would be best to use this editor or maybe Notepad++?
Whatever you feel comfortable, you will be typing.
Yeah, because I can actually see the numbers of the lines in Notepad++, and that's more comfortable for me.
Fair enough.
You can tell me, check this out on line 11, for example.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm gonna do something a bit. First, I'm gonna create a video on OBS with us and me. This is a test setup that I created, so I have 3 streams. The one is a mix down of both my desktop audio and my microphone. The one is just the mic, and the one is the desktop audio. So I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna say 1, 2, 3 test, and you can say whatever you want, but please be civil. I'm gonna record like 10. I'm gonna record 10 seconds. And
what was that word? Hi, you can't say it in Greek.
No, please, not that. Anyway, let's record. 1, 2, 3, go.
Go. You are listening to Radio FM.
That's great.
Yeah, it is.
In a world divided by...
In a world, oh man. We do live in a society.
In a society divided by code.
So this is the file. And let's use the standard one because I have it in my history. And so this is what's happening. This is the video, and these are the audio streams. There's my voice, this is all of us, and this is just you guys. And these are the files that were created. Now, the problem is that, do you see that the first item has a name on it? The other ones do not get the name of the file that is created. In contrast, I have this file here. This is an extract from a movie, a German movie. I'm not gonna play it back because copyrights.
Thank you.
But I'm just gonna show you the waveforms and what's happening here. So this is a 5.1 file, but you can do this with a stereo file as well. So there is another action. I actually have created a shortcut here because I use it regularly. GN explode. So this is what it's called: explode multi-channel audio, non-destructive. You click run, and again you can do the same. You can also use it on stereo tracks, and you see that all the exploded stuff have names. Now let's compare the 2 scripts. I have them both here. Do you think that this is it? Get media item, take source, take ID?
No, that is getting the audio from the take. I wonder why that's necessary. The PCM source is a handle for you to go through the samples. Same way you can do that with JS effects, but not in real time. But I have no idea why they need that here. Why they need that here?
Well, anyway, I don't know. Maybe that's the one. New track ID, Reaper get track 0.
That is getting a handle on the track. So it's probably getting a handle on the track to create new tracks below to put the items there. So you're not interested in tracks, and you're interested in takes, but you're not interested in the PCM source stuff.
So let's actually, this is the entire code right here. Let's see the whole thing. I'm gonna stop scrolling. So can we find the function that does that and apply it to your script?
I believe it is actually hidden in plain sight. Because the way that you can... There are two ways to navigate stuff in Reaper. Tracks, items, takes, and so on. The first way is the more principled way, and that's the way that we usually use first, if we can. So that is functions like the get media item take source that we were looking at 1 minute ago. So that is getting the PCM source for that take. And you have get media item track and all those functions that let you navigate around the data structures in Reaper. The second way of conceptualizing these things, and I'm being vague on purpose because the thing may be a track, an item, a take, whatever. The second way is to think in terms of chunks. A chunk is, again, a kind of a generic name because it is just the representation of a track, an item, a take, and so on in the source or the project file. You know how you save a project in Reaper and you get an RPP file? That's a text file that you can open in Notepad++, and you will see that a track becomes, and it kind of looks like XML or HTML, a track becomes just a piece of text. And that piece of text for a track will contain pieces of text for each item in the track. And each item will contain takes, and the takes may contain effects if you have effects on takes, and so on. So that's the chunk, this block of code essentially that represents a track or an item or a take and so on. So it is a lower level in terms of abstraction. It is a lower level API, and that's what this person is using. It's getting this chunk. See how there is a line that reads get item state chunk, and then there is another one that sets the state chunk. So that's line 30, for instance. It is setting the state chunk. And that may be where it is setting the name of the take. Because the name of the take will be in the chunk somewhere. So it appears to me that there is nowhere in this code where it is setting the name. In fact, I think that the names for all the takes in all the items is the same name, right?
Yeah, it is.
So there you have it. It is probably because it's just in the chunk. Now, what we have to do is see in my script how I create items, because I don't remember. It may be using chunks, it may not. Let's see. So in the beginning of the script, there is a lot of work to actually take a file, learn what are all the streams of media in that file, explode stuff. All of that we can skip. We are interested in the thing at the end of the file where we create the tracks, the items, takes, and...
Oh, there.
Yeah, so these are the tracks to create. We are detecting which tracks we will need based on whatever, the track number, whatever. And then you can continue. So there, in line 97, it is starting to create the tracks for real. And then there is this number of children to create, which is interesting. Oh, interesting. There is even more stuff happening below. So this is just creating the tracks, it seems. And then the loop starting on line 123, that's the one that is creating items. Yeah, that's where we are creating items. And we are not using chunks. We are using the set media item info value function. That's a mouthful. But we are setting the position, the length, the mute status, the start offset. We are setting all of those by hand. So you can see line 136, 137, 138. And in line 139, we are creating the take, the name that you want to assign. The name is associated with the take, not with the item, but with the take. So on line 140, we are setting the start offset of the take. Perhaps what we want is another line just like this, but instead of setting the take offset, we set the take name. So we found the
Should I add a line?
Yeah, we want to add a line, but we don't know which function to call because we don't know how to set the name of a take. And at this point, I think your best bet is to just go look in the documentation for RIA scripts, because there will be a function somewhere that allows you to set the name of a take.
Okay, we can look it up. I imagine ChatGPT is not gonna help in that, right?
One can try.
Yeah.
It's not. I've only made like a hello world thing in Lua so far, but it does churn out a lot of code from the RiaScript API. So it's actually looked into that. It might be helpful. I don't know.
By the way, here is our study group bookmark stuff.
Hey.
Is this the one?
Well, if you go to the Reaper website, it will be slightly out of date potentially, and it may not include all the extensions you have installed. So the way that I usually do this is I go to Reaper, and I go to Help and RiaScript documentation. So this is in your machine with all the extensions you have, with the exact version of Reaper you have.
Oh, awesome.
And that is more I find it more reliable. Anyway, what we are looking for is something that has to do with take name. So perhaps just search for name. And there will be probably 5,000 matches, but we will work through. And you can, if you scroll down, there will be like a table of contents with the names of all the functions you have available to you. Yeah, that kind of thing is what I'm talking about. But keep scrolling down because these are for other things.
Python.
That is a big list of stuff that we are looking for. So search again.
Yes. Then the word name on this place.
I know it's very vague, but search for name and then all occurrences will be highlighted and then we can see what stands out.
Okay, so set track midnode name, get input channel name, take effects add by name, get media source file name. Actually, that could work. Take effects, get effects name, no. Get media input. Take effects, get named config parameter.
Yeah, no.
Take effects, get param name, no. Get output channel name, get peak file name.
And this is the life of writing RIA scripts. It's looking through the list and trying to find something that captures your interest. Continue. You are doing well.
Yeah. Set name, config parameters, get project name, get peak file name. Oh god. Named command lookup. Track effects add my name. Track effects get by name.
That's interesting to know. Hey, there is a function called get take name. If there is a get take name, there must be a set take name, right? Let's continue scrolling. We may find it.
Okay. Get effects name, get effects, get tracks, get track name, get media node name, set named config param. I think this is where the S begins, the set stuff.
Yeah.
But let's continue. So get tracks and name, get user file name for read. No, get envelope name. We reach the end.
Oh no, there is no set take name.
I don't think there is one. Oh wait, set media name. I don't see one.
That's too bad. Let's go to get take name and see if that leads anywhere.
Yeah. So constant. Oh, we see it in Lua here. Wait, that's a long. No. Oh, that was a book. That's not a link that takes you to a separate place, right?
It's just an anchor in the same document.
It's an anchor, yeah. I was looking for that name. The word the anchor. So
that doesn't lead us anywhere.
What was the name of the script again?
Explode. Leandro's script is called Explode Multistream Multitrack Media File to
long
new
and descriptive. It's very Leandro-like.
Right.
So let's go back. Maybe I missed something.
Yeah, there is one little thing that, depending on the attribute you would like to set, like we saw for the start, offset, and that kind of thing, there are these special functions that they're not called set, take, start, offset. They are these functions called set, media, item, take, info, value, which is a weird thing to do. And then you pass what attribute you want to set. So maybe the take name is hidden under there, or maybe you can just try Googling like ReaScript set take name, since it is.
Sorry, I'm going to ask again another stupid question. What were you specifically looking for? You wanted to rename the tracks?
The items, or the takes.
The items, yeah. Because this one is blank. And the reason why I want to do this is because when you render stuff, it doesn't allow you to do it when I do this thing with the $sign item. It cannot get any names, but when I do this, the name is right here. So let's go. How to rename an item? ReaScript. Oh.
And then probably tail is gonna have the answer.
Item names don't exist in Reaper, it's always a take name, okay. You need to first find out the pointer, a unique ID Reaper gives.
Yeah, there you go, there is the function. It is get set media item take info string. Of course, that is the name of the function we want. And this is written in EEL2, so that's why it has the RPR underscore in the beginning. But go back to the documentation that you have on the other tab, and let's look for get set media item take info string.
Just as you were saying that, ChatGPT literally said you can then use reaper.getSetMediaItem underscore string function to set the new name.
It's
Do you want me to share the screen?
I believe you. All right, so there you go. In Lua, what you want to do is reaper.getSetMediaItem take info string, then pass the take, then the parameter name, which must be p underscore name. That's what it's saying below, right? And then the string need big. Why is it called string need big? I have no idea, but that's the name you want. That's the name of the item, or I guess the take. And then a Boolean, if you're setting a new value or if you're getting the value from the Reaper API is a bit odd, isn't it? It is just ridiculous. But anyway, that's the function we want. So what I like to do is just copy and paste the whole function, the whole function signature like that. And
I forgot the bracket. Like this.
You don't need the return value, so you can start to the right of the equal sign.
And place it here?
Yes, exactly. So the item, the first parameter, is stream take.
Did the stream froze?
No, I'm just waiting for you to type, because line 139 defines this variable called stream take.
Oh, yeah, this one, yeah.
Yeah.
But should I type here?
No, you should just copy the words stream take.
Oh, and paste them below this.
No. Stop what you're doing.
Okay.
Go to line 141, and you see how the first parameter is a take?
Yeah.
So replace the words media item underscore take space TK. Replace that, all of that, including the TK. Replace that with stream take, one word. Dash. Good, awesome.
Okay.
The second is the parameter name, or as they call it, the parameter name. So that is, we'll go back to the documentation, we'll copy from there. You see how there is a list of parameters? The first one is p name. Yeah, that's the one we want. So copy that, and in Lua you need to put the thing around, you need to put the thing between double quotes, and remove the word string, because that is just denoting the type. And I mean, before p name there is a word string, you remove that. And then the string that the next one is the name of the take. And we currently don't have the name of the take. We will need to get the name of the take of the original item, but never mind that. For now, just pass a string that reads like Fotis, just to prove that we are able to set the take name. And remove the word string. And then finally, there is a Boolean. Do you want to set a new value? Yes, because remember, this is the get set media item taking from string. So you could call this function to get the name. Keep that in mind, because we will want to get the name. But anyway, for now, we want to set a value, so pass true there.
Do I have to copy something from here?
No. Just
type
true.
Something like this?
No string, no quotes. Just type true. Just like that, yes. And remove the word Boolean from before the word true. There you go. That's the line. So now save and rerun the script. Make sure you save. But then run the script. And then all the items should be named Fotis.
Let's do it again. I'm gonna do the entire process from scratch. La-di-da. And explode the second one. And run. And wait. Oh my god! Oh my god, it works!
So the next step is we need to get a hold of the original name of the original item and use that. But we already know how to get, well, we already know two ways of getting a media item, of getting a take name. We know two ways. There is that dedicated function that we found in the documentation, and there is this get set shenanigans. Anyway, let's go to the code again and get a hold of that original take name. So for that, we probably want to scroll up because we need to find a place where we are talking about the take of the original item you selected.
Okay, so way up, like this. Or should I look
probably even further up, because this is already doing some conversion stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should I look for the word take?
That may be helpful, but yeah, get active take.
Oh, wait, is that the one?
It seems like so, yeah. And then we are looping over all the media items you have selected.
Sorry.
We are looping over all the media items you have selected, and we are collecting information from these media items. So in the medias to inspect table, there will be some information there. Perhaps we can just add the take name there. Yeah, that looks like a sane strategy. So let's go to line 19.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess after streams, or maybe before, let's see, where would be the best place to put this? It doesn't really matter, but let's make this readable. Media item, file. Let's put this before file, let's see. How about that? And you can call this maybe take name. I think that would be a good thing to do.
A camel case, like this.
Yeah, that looks nice, yes. Equals. And then reaper.get take name, I think was the name of the function, get take name.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, let's see, because I forget.
Yeah, that's the one.
and returns a string, and it takes a media item. Perfect. Yeah. Get take name.
Yeah. And comma.
No, you need to put parentheses, and you need to pass as an argument take, because that was the variable defining line 14. And then comma. Perfect. So now the medias to inspect table has the take name. And we need to continue going down, and we need to find if this medias to inspect is available to us in the place where we are doing that line we added.
Oh, in line 139. This one.
Yeah.
Or
We can see that in that case, there is only this medias to convert table. So let's see how medias to convert is created. So perhaps just go up and search for medias to convert.
That's the first appearance, it seems, for media hypers.
Okay. So medias to convert is a table that contains all the medias to inspect that have more than one string. So what we are doing on line 41 is just essentially copying items from the medias to convert, medias to inspect table into the medias to convert table. So it means that everything that is available to us, everything we put there in the beginning of the script will be available to us at the end of the script, which means that we can go down to that line we added.
Yeah.
And instead of Fotis, take Fotis out, including the quotes. And then we can use media.take name.
Like this.
Like that. So let's save and try again.
Okay. This is getting very informative. I don't know. I understand this.
Yeah, in essence, the spirit of the way this script works is something that I often do, like in my data bender and in many projects. If you want to do things to many files or to many media items or whatever, first inspect and detect any errors, decide what you want to do, if you want to convert this media item or not, and how many streams of media you find in that item or in that file. First, do an analysis of what you need to do, store all that in data structures, then go ahead and do it. And yeah, that's the way this script works. And that's why we had to visit two places, first to detect and then to use the information we detected.
Yeah.
So run this, let's see what happens. There you go.
Oh my God, this is so much better.
All right. Now I'm waiting for the pull request.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost exactly what I needed. It could have been better if it actually took these stream 2 things as well.
Oh, so in that case, go back to the little part of the code that we are looking at. And what you're interested in is the stream index, which is a variable defined in line 133. So you don't want only the media item take name, you also want to tag on the stream index somewhere, somehow.
Oh. Yeah, we can actually type that. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So can I add it somehow?
Yeah, so go to line 141 and where it says media.take name, perhaps let's just concatenate the name, the stream index for the time being. So hit space, and then to put two strings together in Lua, you use dot. It's a bit weird,
I remember,
but that's how it goes.
On the video.
And then space again, and then we want to convert a stream index, which is a number, into a string. So now you can type, I think it's toString, it's a function, toString, all one word.
ToString, like this?
No, to as in converting to.
ToString. Oh yeah,
There
I
you
did
go.
see that in the video.
Yeah, and then parentheses and stream index. Stream index is a number. ToString is going to convert that into a string. and the I is capitalized, and Lua is a case-sensitive language. All right, so now you're just saying take name, and then the number is being converted into a string. If you wanted it to say something like stream 0 instead of just 0, you could concatenate another string that reads like stream space, something like that. I'll let you decide how the formatting is going to go.
Yeah, I'm going to think about it,
Yeah, but just to make sure that this worked, let's go through the exercise again.
Let's go one more time.
And in retrospect, it seems like maybe using the chunk was the best idea, because then the take name would go with that. And, well, but then you wouldn't have different names for the different takes. See how now they end with numbers like 1, 2,
with a 1, with no.
Yeah, that's what you wanted, right?
I like it, yeah.
Awesome.
I'm gonna work on this further and add the string that looks like this one. I guess I'm gonna make it in the end.
Sounds good. Well, if you wanted the thing to be the name of the file, it is not appended to the end of the name. It's not .mkv space stream 1 and 2 and 3. It is actually to the left of the extension. So it is stream1.mkv. And to do that will be a bit trickier. I'll let you figure it out.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I understand, because I should make it so that it it understands.
If you want the
thing
to be just the file name, I could
remove this.
You do have the file name somewhere.
Yeah.
Let's see, stream.file. I think that's the file name. So instead of
look for stream.
this line reads stream.file. I suppose that is the file name. So replace in that line 141, replace media item, media take name, dot, blah, 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 all of that. Replace all of that with just stream.file, and let's see what comes out. I'm pretty sure it's going to work.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's do it. Oh, it works! It works!
Yeah. And
oh my god!
Maybe you don't want the full path, perfect. Maybe you just want the file name, or maybe, whatever. And then in the end...
Oh yeah, that's gonna cause an issue.
Yeah.
That's gonna, that's causing an issue, yeah. So yeah, it's not perfect yet.
Yeah, you can work from there, I suppose.
Yeah. I did like that one, the thing that we wrote previously, so I'm gonna keep it as a comment, just in case. And let's place it right here. That's the comment, right? 2 dashes,
yes.
Right? And shall we look at one little thing, one final thing?
Could I interject with if I asked ChatGPT?
I knew what you were gonna say.
Yeah. So here's what it said. Can you read it?
Yes.
Oh,
I might have asked it stupidly. So what I did, I loaded the script. Asked it, what does this do? And then I explained, well, this press be written in la 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 la. Then it suggested this. After the new files are created, just convert. And Leandro, you can dissect this. I can't. Would this be correct?
Hang on, I have to read it. After the new files are created, iterate through media to convert table and get the something new file name and the original media item. It is using stream.file, which seems correct. And media.media item, I don't remember seeing that, but it may be correct. To rename the media item, well, strictly speaking, we are naming the take. but I'll let that go. You can use the Reaper get set media item info string. That doesn't seem correct.
Yeah.
Was that the name of the function we used? Didn't it mention take somewhere? Ooh, it's doing some matching. The new name should be based on the file name. Yeah, this is getting out of hand because it's manipulating the file name.
The thing is to ask it a The thing is to ask it a really specific question. I needed to modify so that it blah 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 blah. I just asked it, can you rename things? And this is what it spat out.
Yeah. To me it gives me that weird vibe of speaking the language but not making really a lot of sense.
Yeah.
The Chinese room argument.
Yeah,
the what?
Exactly.
Sorry? The Chinese
room argument is paradox. If you remember the game DRS, the company took its name from that. Anyway, that paradox says that you could teach a computer to speak Chinese so well that it can communicate with a Chinese person, but that doesn't mean that it understands Chinese.
No. Yep. It's definitely like that with JSFX. It gives stupid answers a lot of the time, but it gets you going, and that's the thing. And it gets you going, and you stumble into something else, and then you ask a different question, and then you end up as a different and go. So I find it very helpful. So
awesome.
And Fotis, go on. Sorry for interrupting.
Okay. Do you still see my screen?
No.
I didn't stop
share
sharing.
again, please.
Oh, okay. 1 sec. Actually, shouldn't be sharing computer sound right now because I might play copyrighted material right now. I'm gonna share it again with the sound turned off. Anyway, so we did finish this thing. Now there is just one other tiny little thing that I need to add on the script, and it's totally different from what we saw. And it's like the most special thing ever, and the person in the universe that needs it. But let's do it. So this is, like I said, an extract from this movie, just because I needed an AC3 file. Are you familiar with this kind of a file extension, AC3?
I'm not.
No.
It's the standard Dolby Digital stream that was used in DVDs and in some poorly produced Blu-rays. So if we drop this in this front end for AC3.2, we can see that it has a tag called dialogue normalization. This was a feature by Dolby that actually compresses the dynamic range in your movie if you set it on your AVR or on your Dolby compatible DVD player or whatever. And if you create by default, AC3.2 works similarly to FFmpeg. You can actually do this with FFmpeg. I just loaded this just so you can see it. You can convert this to anything you want, but by default it removes the dialogue normalization unless you add this parameter that says keep dialogue normal. Now with FFmpeg things are a bit different. Let's go to the FFmpeg documentation.
That's a great place to be. I was visiting the FFmpeg documentation this afternoon. It's just so cozy.
Yeah, I love
Warms my heart.
So, oh yeah. There is a specific place, I remember it, for the dialogue normalization. Wait. Is it dial norm or dialogue? Oh, sorry. I do remember. I have read it. It isn't here. I'm not crazy.
Perhaps it's in one of the other manual pages, because there is the FFmpeg tool, and then there are codecs and filters and this and that.
Oh yeah, it's in the codecs one. Yeah,
so
that's where it is.
Yeah, there you go. On the left menu, there is documentation. Click on documentation, and then on the right box,
there it is.
The components documentation. There is a page for encoders and decoders.
Yeah, that's the one.
See, I really have been to this documentation this afternoon. It's a lovely place.
There you go. That's the one. And now, there it is. Dynamic range compression, DRC. So the default value is 1, which means that it does apply a dialog normalization. So if you convert, I'm going to show it in Audacium. I'm going to show you what the waveforms look like before and after the DRC value. So let's do the conversion twice, so you can understand exactly what I'm talking about and what I want to apply on this script. So first, let's convert this to FLAC. And it's gonna remove the dialog normalization. You can actually see it. There it is, removing AC3 dialog normalization. And It's a bit slow. Please bear with me. But it's gonna work.
Meanwhile, enjoy another train passing by.
Yeah.
And then it is very convenient to have the train line nearby, but I don't even take the train. I mostly scoot around. I'm still a scooter person, even in the winter. It's a lot of fun.
Nice.
You don't have any snow, do you?
No, we don't have any snow here.
Wow, same here. I live in one of the warmest places in Greece right now. Let's name it 1. And now let's do the same thing, but with the keep dialog norm. And while it's doing it, I'm gonna load this one.
Why did you get into this in the first place, Fotis?
I have no idea. So this is how it looks like with the DRC on. Let's close this. I have this convenient shortcut. Oh, wait, no, that was a mistake. But yes, I used to be and I still am very into these file formats from movies like Dolby and DTS. I have studied these things a lot. I have way too much information about these things in my head. And yeah, I could create a study group just for that. But for the time being, let's focus on this thing and what I want to add on our baby here.
Do you think that those file types would be useful for data bending? Because if so, I'm in.
Why not? Actually, if you think about it, AC3 is just a compression. It's really like the MP3 of surround formats. It's lossy and it's clunky and it's old and I hate it, but it's being used quite a lot, so we have to create this argument. So let's compare. Oh, it didn't do it. Oh God. So yeah, instead I'm gonna do it with, sorry, I know a way to circumvent this. Instead, Audacium and Audacity by design is using FFmpeg, a special FFmpeg that is, it needs an FFmpeg that is created specifically for Audacity. You can read it here, importing FFmpeg compatible. And so by default, it does apply the dialog normalization.
Am I writing? You're trying to convert. You want to automate a conversion of audio files to play on your system in the way you like it. Is that what you're trying to do?
Exactly. So
All right.
what I want to do is to take this this parameter and create an argument that if the file that you're loading in Reaper is an MKV file like I made here that contains an AC3 stream, that it should remove the dialogue normalization. That's what I want to do. So,
okay.
There you go. Do you see the difference now?
Yeah.
This is with DRC. This is without DRC. Do you see how it chops off the dynamic range? Do you see how evil it is? Guys, we need to take care of this. This is bad. This is so bad. We need to destroy this once.
The loudness war is over.
The loudness war is over, yeah. Dynamic is the new loud, as my friend Ian Shepherd says. So, do you want us to do this now, or should we wrap it and liquidate it in the next meeting?
Yeah, so it appears that, let's see if I understand this. I have this script to explode stuff using FFmpeg. You want to adapt the script to use FFmpeg to do something else entirely, which is to remove the dialogue normalization. Is that right?
Actually, I could explode the stuff, but without the dialogue normalization, because it does it does convert these to wave files, but these wave files are gonna have dynamic range compression by default because this is the standard in FFmpeg.
I see. So what you want to do is detect that you have this specific decoder, and if you do, then you want to set a flag. DRC.
Yes, this
scale
0
equals 0. Yeah, that's something that we can do. Perhaps let's not do it now, but what you can do during the 2 weeks until our next meeting is look over the script, because somewhere there will be maybe an extension, or maybe somewhere in the script there will be a place where we detect what kind of stream we are working with.
Yeah.
It's around line 37, it seems.
And
around line 33 and 34. Yeah, that's where we are looking at the information for that stream. So in line 33, we have the pattern, the Lua pattern we use to extract information. You may need to change this Lua pattern because you may need to somewhere find the codec type, which we are not dealing with. We are just dealing with whether it's audio or video. So you probably want to change this to capture more information. Then you probably want to insert this extra information in the medias to inspect stuff that happens on line 35 and 36. So besides just is video, you also want to set the codec. And then when you're doing the conversion, which happens on line 54, it seems, maybe even later. No, it's even later. In line 63, for instance, that's where you are building up the command that is going to do the conversion. That's where you're building up the command that you're going to invoke. The FFmpeg invocation is being built there. So you can see, for instance, it's checking stream is video on line 65. You can check if the stream is a particular codec, and if so, add some command line flags. And that's how you do it. And maybe you will want to go to this part of the stream and rewatch my explanation.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah,
but
this is a note.
Yeah, this is probably the way to do this.
And the funny thing is that we didn't need the script by the other guy after all.
Yeah, they were doing something interesting and perhaps a more principled approach. Not sure. But anyway, it was interesting to see the two approaches, using chunks and using the more high-level functions, let's say.
Wow, this was nice. I really enjoyed this session.
Me too. All right.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing.
Okay, so I guess this is my turn. There is a couple of things I want to show you. The first is the setup I learned for using. I'm gonna talk about C++, you all.
Yeah,
I guess
excellent.
you didn't see that
Awesome.
coming on the C++ study group, but we will talk about some C++ here. And I am using Xcode to do C++, and that's okay. But there are some things I like about Visual Studio Code better. For one, the formatter just works out of the box. So if I write code that looks like garbage, I can call the formatter with the same keyboard shortcut I use for formatting JavaScript, for formatting Lua, for formatting everything I do. Just use the same keyboard shortcut and it formats C++. Out of the box, no extensions required. That's great. In Xcode, the only thing I can do is auto indent, which is not the same because it doesn't insert new lines to make things relatively short in terms of line length and that sort of thing. And it also doesn't fix like weird parentheses like that. The formatter fixes that for me. So I liked the formatter. I liked the fact that I can do Markdown more easily. Xcode does Markdown, but it's a bit of, it's not so great. And because of all these reasons, I wanted to see if I could do some C++ in Visual Studio Code. And I didn't want to lose stuff like command and click to go to the source or to find certain things like the class definition and method definitions and so on. I didn't want to lose all these features that you get sort of for free in Xcode because those are super useful, particularly when you don't know the language all that well. So I wanted to set these things up. And there are, I guess, at least two ways of going about this. The first, and the one that is recommended by Visual Studio Code itself the first time you open a C or C++ file, is this extension from Microsoft called C/C++. It is a very popular extension, perhaps the most popular extension in Visual Studio Code. 41 million downloads, it's a lot.
Wow.
And it works quite well. You do get the command and click to go to the source. You do get some errors and warnings and that kind of thing. But it doesn't work perfectly. In particular, I was working in a C++ file that included something from, I think it was Core Audio, or maybe it was some other macOS framework. I don't really remember exactly. But I think it was somewhere in here, so maybe I can find it real quick. Yeah, the whole thing is just broken at this point. But anyway, it was using a header that comes with macOS, and the Microsoft extension didn't pick it up. And then I looked online for what I could do about it, and someone recommended this clang-d thing. And you're not supposed to have the C++ extension and clang-d at the same time. That's why I don't have the C++ extension installed. I have this one installed. And what this is, it is using the clang, which is the compiler used in Xcode. So it's using clang, and it is, well, I guess another implementation of the same concept. Code completion, go to definition, and all of those things. But this one worked better. It was able to find all the headers in the frameworks from macOS. It is able to jump to files like this. This is what is being used right now as I click around. And it does work better. It is less popular. It doesn't say how many downloads. Well, I guess it is 500,000 downloads. It shows up a little cloud on the tooltip, but I cannot put my cursor there. Anyway, it is more, it seems to be more useful but less popular. So I wanted to show you this because perhaps you are interested in doing C++ in Visual Studio Code, and now you know. And there is just one little trick to set it up. If you are doing a big project with CMake and blah, 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 there are some ways to set clang-d up using CMake. That's great. You just tell it that you want to generate some special files, and it will do the special files that will essentially have information about where it should go when you command click. Essentially, that's what that file is. But in this simple project I have going on here, I'm not using CMake. I am just compiling on the command line using this line. And I will also talk about what this line is doing, but I'm just compiling on the command line. I don't have an Xcode project. I don't have a CMake project. I don't have any project at all. I just have a file. So to set this up, there is a page documenting CLangD that explains this in more detail, but you create this compile flags file and you tell it what compiler flags you want to use. And that is pretty much what you use when compiling. You can see a similarity between the line I used to compile and the stuff you see here on this file. They are the same parameters. But as long as you have this stuff, it works for the most part. As you can see, as you saw on the other file I opened, it didn't work all that well. But on this one, it is working well. And yeah, it is what I wanted to show. CLangD.
Did you send us something?
I did not. I did not send you anything.
I heard a little sound that sounded like a notification.
Oh.
But anyway. Sorry.
Yeah. All right. And yeah, so CLangD, that's what I want to show. I also want to show this little library I found because it is probably going to be useful to me. And yeah, as you all know, I am playing around with this idea of a project that is like Black Hole in macOS. It is an audio device that loops back. So you send audio to the device and it sends you back that same audio, which is useful when routing audio between applications, like from Reaper to OBS, for instance. But I want you to be able to create as many audio devices as you wish without having to do it the Black Hole way, where you recompile Black Hole using different identifiers. And the way that I want you to be able to control all this is using an HTTP API. So we are back to web development, the thing that I know better. So the idea is that I have this example thing that I showed before, and it is a prototype, a proof of concept that it is possible to do these loopback devices. And this is a virtual audio device. When you install this, which is not the case right now, this is not installed in this machine, but it just shows up here the same as Black Hole and everything else. So the problem is this audio device driver needs to receive information from the outside world. It needs to know that, oh, you want me to create another audio device, or you want to rename an audio device, and so on. So I thought, what better way than an HTTP API? And I found this library. And if you are familiar with Express in Node.js or Sinatra in Ruby or Flask in Python, this is going to look familiar because it is just setting roots and setting functions to be called on that root. And you have your request and response objects, and then you set content for the response, all that good stuff. And this library allows you to do that with a single header. Super simple to use, and it works. Great stuff. I think nice. I think I will be able to use this library in my loopback audio device thing. Not sure if it's gonna work. As you can see, for now I'm experimenting with the two things separately because I'm not sure that an audio driver is allowed to start an HTTP server because it needs to bind to a port. Not sure if that's allowed because audio devices run in a sandbox in macOS. We'll see, but it is interesting stuff that this works this way. And
yeah. Not to rain on your parade because you want to create your own stuff, but I think something like that already exists, and it's called Dante Via. I sent it on the chat, the Skype.
I know
chat.
some solutions that exist, but none of them were open source. And
yeah, this isn't either. So yeah, fair point. You should create an open source Dante.
yeah, and it's not open source, it's a paid thing. And I do know about Rogue Amoeba's loopback. But it's not quite the same as what I'm thinking about. Because this is more featureful. This is not only allowing you to create multiple audio devices, you can just keep creating devices here on the left. This is also, each audio device is aware of all the clients. That's the terminology used in audio devices. The clients are the applications that are sending or receiving audio from or to that audio device. And it is aware of each application. And you can wire things here in this user interface, and you can even apply effects. I think it's able to load like audio units or whatever. This is doing a lot more than what I am proposing. What I'm proposing is essentially just this left pane, and you can create new virtual devices, and each virtual device is just going to loop back. It's not going to introspect into the clients like that. So it is in a way simpler, and to my use, it is more useful. I think that it maps better with the way I think. So there is nothing quite like what I'm proposing. And what I'm proposing will be open source and free, while this is $100, I think. Oh wow. It's 122 bucks. Anyway, so that's what I have in mind, but I haven't really flashed everything out to see if it would work. And the last thing I want to show is this command line flags, because when we were doing JUCE and even iPlug, we got an Xcode project and we hit build. And when you do that, it is doing a lot under the hood. And I find it useful to understand what it is doing, because sometimes things go wrong, or just out of curiosity, I thought it would be interesting to see what it's doing. So I wanted to compile stuff on the command line, not using any Xcode project, not using any CMake or whatever. And it is super easy to do. You call the compiler, and the way you call the compiler, it is the same compiler, but you can call it in multiple ways. You can call it with CLang, you can call it with CLang++, you can call it with GCC. All different names for the same executable. But the way you call it will influence how it treats the files. So if you call it as CLang, it will think that it's a C file. And if you call it with CLang++, it will think that it is a C++ file. So in this case, because I am doing the compile flags thing, it will invoke not for building the project, but for coming up with the connections. Like when you command click here, it needs to go there. So to do this linking, well, I shouldn't use the word link because it has meaning in building C++ projects. So to do these connections, it will call CLang as CLang, not CLang++. So that's why I have this parameter here. It tells that the language is actually C++. And that's what I have here as well. So as far as I can tell, doing this parameter X and setting it to C++ is equivalent to calling the thing CLang++ on the command line. Then I include, that's the capital I include dot, which is the current directory. And that is going to allow this include to work, because it is going to look for a file with this name in the current directory. And then finally, I have to have this, which sets the level of the language. As you all probably know at this point, C++ is an evolving language. There are different versions of the language, and different versions will have different features. And I don't remember exactly which feature was necessary from C++ 17, but there are some things in this library that require C++ 17. So that's why I set the standard to C++ 17. And in Xcode, each of these things are parameters you can set. They are not command line flags like this. you will go somewhere in your project settings and you will set the standard, you will set the language, you will set the include paths. But in the end of the day, Xcode is going to call clang with these flags or something equivalent to this. So by doing this by hand on the command line, I was able to really understand what Xcode was doing for me. And yeah, and it actually works. So yeah, that's what I wanted to show.
Awesome. I got about 2% of that. But you're trying to make an equivalent to black hole that routes audio on Macs specifically?
Yes, it's a Mac OS specific thing. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and it is similar to getting several instances of black hole, but without the burden of having to recompile and recompile and recompile black hole, as I am doing right now in my streams. Not in this janky setup I'm using today, but in my usual setup, I have 4 black hole instances and I had to compile them from source and whatnot. So that's the plan.
Okay. That sounds awesome. What's it called? Servers .cpp? Is it a server?
Yeah, so this is the HTTP part of things. I'm testing the HTTP library here. That is going to be the part that allows you to set a new name for an audio device, or to create a new audio device, or remove an audio device, and that sort of thing. So I'm just testing this library to do an HTTP server.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Could we jump back to Fotis renaming thingy for a while?
Well, I guess Fotis is no longer in the call.
No, he's not. I didn't notice. Sorry. Did he even? Must have computer froze or something. Internet went down. But I've been trying, meaning to make a script that renames takes and files in my project, because I always forget to name my tracks correctly. I just add them with no names. So they're. But you should be able to do that, right?
What do you want to do exactly? You have a bunch of items with weird names and you would like to rename the items based on the track name?
Yes. So if what happens is I add a track and then I start recording and then I start working on it and then I find out later that I didn't name the track, so all the file names are weird. So if I give the track a name, it will rename the files and the item takes as well.
Well, if you want to, when you rename a track, to rename the take items, the names of the takes in the items in the track, that's relatively straightforward to do. I think that there is a stock Reaper action that does what you are talking about.
I have a recollection of that as well, but I don't remember what the name was. So
yeah. But if you want to rename the files, I don't think that there is anything stock that does that. And I'm not even sure if I know a script that does it. There may be one, because it stands to reason that this is the kind of thing that one would want to do. And if that's not the case, then yeah, it is an action that we could write. It's definitely a possible thing to do using a script.
It's not super high on my priority. So I was thinking if Fotis was doing it, if we could do it sort of parallel version of it that did that.
Yeah, I think it would be much simpler than my script, actually. But anyway, I think that Fotis is gone, so
okay.
Perhaps we can leave this as homework. Maybe you can take a stab at it if you're feeling like doing some Lua.
Yes, and I also was wondering, you need, for Python scripts, you need to install Python for Reaper, a specific Python install?
It's not a specific Python install, but you do need to install Python. So if you want to write a script in Python, you have to install Python, just regular Python installation, go to python.org or whatever the website is, install Python. Then you go in Reaper and you find the Python installation. And you say to Reaper, this is where you find Python.
So I have Python
I have never
already.
done this though. I have never needed
Okay.
it.
I might as well stick with Lua. There's
Yeah.
no benefit to using Python over Lua, I guess.
Well, if you were doing something really crazy and you wanted to use a Python library, then it would be nice to use Python in Reaper. But I think that may be the only reason, because in terms of like ease of use, Lua and Python are similar, and in terms of integration with Reaper, Lua is much better. So I always recommend people to use Lua.
I'll stick with Lua. Cool.
All right. So I think that is a wrap.
Yes.
Okay.
Nice seeing you again, Leandro, in good health, and it's been a while.
Yeah. It's nice seeing you all as well. And Fotis is here saying, pack it up, pack it in, let me begin. I want to win. Battle me. That's a sin. What? The power went off. Can join via phone. It's back. Okay, Fotis. Well, anyway.
Okay.
It was great to have Yubo and Fotis and Mage here with me today. I will be streaming more often. Probably on Friday, I want to say. Not sure. My schedule is hectic. But I do want to come back full power, doing more data bending, doing more, even some C++. Who knows?
Yeah. I want to do that too. I want to move past JSFX. That's the next goal.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for joining us, and I see you again hopefully this week. And yeah, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching the stream. You know how great it has been. Or maybe it sucked, and I am glad that you stuck with me. And so we'll all be back together for some more coding or talking or chilling. The next time I'll be streaming.